Libya is in northern Africa and borders not only the Mediterranean Sea, but also six different countries, one of them sharing a name with one of our YTD hosts. The Libyan desert, which is actually the northern and eastern parts of the Sahara Desert, is known as the harshest, driest, and most remote part of the Sahara and is capable of going decades without rain. To travel through unprepared would be a grave mistake. But don't worry, we're here to help. If your canteen has run dry, just sit back and listen as we reach into our satchels for some Libyan snacks and ask, You tried that? You tried that. Libya. I'm Nick Novak with my pals, Chad Hancock.
There's some snacks in this house. There's some snacks in this house.
I never know what the fuck he's talking about. Nick Hager.
Wet ass snacks.
You don't know that song, Novak?
No, what
That's
is
WAP.
that?
That's the first line of WAP.
Oh,
the
is
WAPs?
it? Oh.
Yeah, the Cardi B and.
I watched the video once. Geiger told me he watched it 100 times. I watched it once, but I said, "Oh, this is interesting." And then
I've had it stuck in my head because my wife loves that song and she plays it almost every day. And then I hear it because we're both working from home, and I'll just be like, she's upstairs, I'm downstairs, and then just all of a sudden, like 2:00 rolls around, and I just hear, "There's some whores in this house," and I'm like, "Oh, there it is."
I think it was randomly on somewhere. Somebody had it on driving by, and Jake is like, "What is he saying?" I'm like, "There's a horse in this house." That's what he's saying. like, just clomping around.
Wet ass pony.
It's about your hometown.
Yeah, it's the mayor's giving a speech. He just walks, strides up to the podium. There's some whores in this town. There's some whores in this town.
Well, when we were growing up, before we had wives, we never saw any WAP. We were
we were WAPless. There was plenty of FAP and very little WAP.
Zero WAP.
We're going to talk a little today about bad dates, and what made me think about it was I was thinking back to a time, and it was someone, we all worked at a restaurant at one point, and so I went on a date with someone from this restaurant, and for the date, she really wanted me to go to her old work, which was a pet store, and we walked around the pet store. She introduced me to all her old coworkers, and like this was what she really wanted to do on the date. And it just made me think that's the worst thing I've ever had to do, and like the most I ever wanted to just run out the door and run home. But because she was one of the few who would agree to go out with me, that I looked past quite a bit. But I know everyone's had these kind of stories. Geiger, is there some kind of a date you remember that went terribly?
Well, two quick ones come to mind. I'll make them quick. One actually was a good date, but it was just weird, and that was my first date with my wife, which you guys were actually present with me that day. It could have been it had the makings of a bad date, but it just turned out that we got along.
Right.
I was supposed to go meet her. I met her online, on the WAP message boards, and she was playing tennis in the city, and she wanted me to come and be at her game, and we're like, "Oh, just come watch me play tennis, and then we'll go back." I don't want to watch you play tennis. I don't know who the fuck you are. It's weird. Just sit in the stands and watch a stranger play tennis. And so I got down to the city late.
But there you were at the tennis court.
Silently jerking off in the stands. Turned out it was the wrong person. I'm like, "Oh, it's you? Oh, yeah, you're the one that's hot." But she was like, "Oh, my game finished because the lights turned out in the park. Just pick me up at this bus station." So I'm like driving down Michigan Avenue in Chicago, looking at all these bus stations for the one like standing there with a tennis racket. And I pulled up, and she got in the car. It was like, it felt like what I can imagine like picking up a hooker's. Like you just stroll up to you lean over and you point to her, and she just gets in the car. And then she couldn't tell me how to get back to her apartment. And I'm like, "You live down here." She's like, well, I don't know. Do you know where such and such is? I'm like, I don't live here. It's your apartment. She proceeded to get to my apartment, or her apartment. She got in. She's like, do you like sports? I'm like, huh? She's like, do you like sports? I'm like, yeah. So she turned on ESPN. She goes, I'm going to go take a shower. And she just went and took a shower. Literally a dude she met off the internet who she has met who she's talked to for 10 actual minutes while we drove around Lost. She just let be in her apartment when she stripped naked and bathed. So she was technically her pee was way WA,
Yeah.
but not because of me. But anyway, obviously it turned out well because I married that crazy woman. The other quick story, I went Novak. You and I met two ladies at an adult establishment. Well, a bar. I don't know. It might sound like a strip club.
What the hell? Wait just a second.
I got real classy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was 100% a bar. We did not.
We were at this porn shop.
Why did
remember?
you
We
make
met
the
these
bar?
two sluts. No, I'm kidding. No, we met two nice girls, and you were interested in the one. You knew her from class or something, and I just started talking to her friend, and then we hit it off. So we went on a date, and like it was like a very broke college kid date. We went and got like a video at Blockbuster or something, and like went back to my apartment or whatever. And like the whole time she was just really weird. Like she wouldn't make eye contact. She had like a hoodie on. She kept like pulling it over her eyes and just laying. I'm like, are you? I even asked her, I'm like, are you sick? Like, do you just want to go home? She's like, no, I'm having fun. And I'm like, you don't seem like you are. So I dropped her off at her place, and I went back, and like later that night she called me and she's like, hey, I had a really good time.
Indeed.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. She's like, you're so nice. You're going to be mad at me. And I'm like, why? She's like, I have something to tell you.
I took a shit on your couch.
I let a horse in your house. And I'm like, why are you mad? And like, why would I be mad? She goes, well, remember when at the club when I told you I was like 22? I'm like, uh-huh. She goes, I'm actually 26. I'm like, okay, like I was like maybe 22 or 23.
Motherfucker!
Like,
Just slam the phone down.
You lying bitch. No, and I'm like, who cares? I'm like, that's okay. I'm like, I don't know why you lied, but like, I don't, whatever, it's fine. And she's like, oh, there's more. You're gonna be so mad at me. And I'm like,
I'm actually 76.
She's like, yeah, what by more she meant more years. No, she just kept saying you're gonna be so
pulling off
mad.
masks like Scooby-Doo style.
You're gonna be so mad at me. The last mask is my dad. I'm like, what the hell? But she's like, when I only said I smoked.
Your dad's like, do you like sports? I'm gonna go take a shower.
She's like, oh god. But she's like, remember when I said I only smoked at the club? And I'm like, uh-huh. She's like, she's like almost in tears. She goes, I smoke all the time. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, we've only been on a date. Like, I didn't propose to you. This is fine. Like, like, you seem nice, but like,
it's not fine though, because like
she's
already
lied
to you twice in the matter of an hour.
Oh yeah, it gets worse.
So,
yeah. So she goes, I have something else to tell you, and I'm like, ooh. And then this time I was like, what? Like I was getting irritated. She goes, I have a boyfriend, and I'm like, oh, what the? And she goes, and he's 20 years older than me. And I for some reason that irritated me. And I go, I just distinctly remember going, he's 46. Like I yelled it into the phone. I have no idea why.
No. He's 96.
But like the weird thing is, she goes, well, I still really like you and I want to go out. And I'm like, you've got a boyfriend. I'm not going out with you. So like I stopped talking to her. Cut to like a year later, the girl that you went on the date with, Novak, moved into my apartment building, and I ran into her. And then all of a sudden this girl started showing up all the time, knocking on my door and being like, why aren't you calling me? And I'm like, I'm not interested in hanging out with you.
I'm your father. Call me back.
Your mother's worried. I'm like, what the hell? She threw her phone at me and said, put your number in there. And I like looked over, I'm like, no. And I was like, and then one last time I remember she called me randomly. She's like, I know you probably don't want to hang out. I'm like, uh-huh. She's like, I just have a favor to ask. And she's like, I'm like, what? She goes, could you drive me? She wanted me to drive her to some city because her car broke down. I'm like, No,
Some city.
I don't remember which one it
Cities
was.
aren't. Oh.
No, it wasn't. It was a distinct city. I just don't
New
recall
York
the
City. Right.
Just drive me into the distance somewhere and drop me off. Dad, I know where your house is. I'll take you home. So that was the time my dad tricked me into giving him a blowjob.
After all that, you still blew him?
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of respected the hustle. It was that's a lot of work. This guy put on 18 costume changes and seduced his own son.
Fucked a 96-year-old just to get in my pants. What?
So yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was just strange.
Chad, what about you?
I think I haven't had like a ton of super had dates, but I think the worst one, and I'm not entirely sure what I did. I guess maybe I was just being myself. But I had gone on this.
That'll do it.
I had gone on this date with this woman that I had met on OkCupid, and this is when I was living with you, Geiger, and she was a student at Northwestern at the time, and I went down to Northwestern, and we just kind of like walked around, the campus there. We ate lunch at like some restaurant. And, I thought it was going really well. Like, I was like, oh, like we seem to have like a decent rapport or whatever. We get to the end of the date and, like she gives me a hug as I'm like getting in the car to like leave. And she says, so I said like, oh, well, so, maybe we should do something again soon. And I remember very distinctly what she said to me was, yeah, normally I usually give like 3 dates. I have like a 3-date rule where I'll give everyone 3 dates, but in this case it's just gonna be one.
Whoa. You failed.
I was like all right. Later.
And she didn't say why, just like walk away.
Wow, that's harsh.
It just
Like,
let me know that
I didn't need that qualifier. I would have just been fine without it.
Yeah, I was probably just like making dumb jokes, or something the whole time that she didn't like. But
Geiger's dad again though, right?
Yeah. So, but this topic also makes me think about my brother, who has been on this podcast, friend of the podcast, and my brother David, who he's been on a couple notoriously bad dates in his day. He's happily married now, but before that, I remember my personal favorite was this one where he there was a woman that really liked him and they agreed to meet. But one thing about my brother is, at least back then, he never carried any cash. Like, just never didn't like to carry cash for whatever reason. And the way he explains it, there was some snafu with the bank where his ATM card was like not working. So they get there. So he meets the woman, and they were gonna go see some movie. So the theater turns out to be cash only. So he's like, okay, well, let me go to the ATM. I'll get some money to pay for the movie. Goes to the ATM, and his ATM card is declined because there was like some issue with it. So he's like, I don't have any cash. She's like, fine, I'll just pay for the movie. Pulls out some cash, pays for the movie. Afterwards, they go to dinner. He's like, all right, I got this. Pulls out his credit card. His credit card bounces, like, also declined. So he's like, I only have one credit card. It was just declined. My ATM card's not working. Can you pay for dinner?
Oh, boy.
So
Dave.
So she ended up paying, and he told me that actually she like really liked him up until that point, and then basically like
Yep, that'll do it.
Basically like they didn't see each other, and then like he got like some super angry text from her, and he was like super embarrassed about it and stuff, and felt really, really bad about the whole thing.
I usually give guys 3 chances to pay for things, but I'm gonna stop at 2. Because I missed it.
Did he go back to the table and be like, I have something to tell you. You're going to be really mad. I don't have any way to pay for dinner.
Also, my car's out of gas. Can you fill it up for me?
Can you drive me somewhere?
Can you pay off my college debts? That the other one I remember him telling me is just it sounds like it's from some like, insane movie or something like that, but he said that he went on a date with a woman that he had met, and they she said she wanted to meet him at this local small bookstore in her neighborhood to get some coffee. So he goes to the address that she provides, and the local small bookstore turned out to be like a Borders. So they go to the coffee shop like in the Borders for the date, and she starts telling him like about her life story. The weirdest thing about it, like there was all these details like, oh, she used to be like in the New York Philharmonic playing violin or something like that, and then she like got involved with this guy who told her he was like a limo driver, and then like got her addicted to heroin, and then it turned out that he wasn't actually a limo driver. He was actually somebody who, who was a hitman for the Russian mafia. And he used the limo driving as like a cover story or something like that.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
So, so she ended up like, divorcing him or whatever. But she did nicely tell my brother that her ex did say he would murder anyone that she ever dated again.
She said that in the middle of a date?
Yeah.
Was she trying to get rid of Dave?
Probably, yeah. I think, I think things were going well, and then Dave's like, "Oh, can you pay for this coffee and this couple books I want to buy?" And she's like, "My ex said he'd murder you."
She put like a laser sight on his forehead, like, "Oh, there he is. He's a sniper."
That's brutal.
That's weird as fuck.
A simple "I'm not feeling good" will do.
Yeah, but I remember him telling me that and just being like, looking at him and being like, what is this life that you're living? Like, I'd never been in a situation remotely like that.
Tell me if this is about you or not. It shouldn't, but I once went on a couple of dates that I was set up, a blind date with someone I work with, set me up with their friend, and the girl was like, her job was a professional clown. Like they would at parties and things like that, which by all means the person was nice. And the reason we didn't keep going is just and it fizzled out like anything else. But I did think, I don't know, it would be a strange thing. Part of the reason it fizzled out was like right at the end, she was wearing a clown makeup and like wiped it all off, and it was Geiger's dad.
When it was started to get stale, was she just resorting to like making her bow tie twirl around, or like squirting you with water from her flower lapel and stuff?
It was just literally 5 straight minutes of a flower squirting me in the eye, and I was like, Dad, you know what? My girlfriend said she's gonna kill anybody who dates me, so I gotta go.
I think I would need to see her perform. Right? Because like if she seems like just like a normal kind of clown, then it's fine. But if on the creepiness scale she's a little bit more in the Strokes direction, then I probably would not want to.
I had forgotten all about Strokes.
I did meet her walking down the street and saw her peering out of a like street level sewer gate.
How old were you when this happened? Were you 8 when she lured you down to the sewer? That's not a blind date, Novak. That's a date who tried to make you blind.
Exactly. She jabbed my eyes out with a pitchfork, and then
yeah, the chemistry just wasn't there. We lived in the sewer too long, and she like 8 children. I don't know.
I'm actually remembering now. I'm starting to kind of put together this. Geiger, didn't you tell us some story about how your dad was actually like a Russian mafia hitman?
Couldn't get it out.
I'm leaning in like, oh yeah, I may have forgotten this terrible day. Oh, it's about my dad. Okay. Yeah, my dad would be the least stealthy assassin of all time, just walking up in a bright red Badgers jersey. Bam! Just walks away in broad daylight.
That shoddy.
Whips out that shoddy.
Well,
I'm Santa Claus. Oh, wow.
We've got Libyan snacks to eat, so let's get to that. We're going to rate them on a 5-point scale. I love that like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. But before we eat them, we're going to get a little update as to how we came about these snacks, Jed.
Yeah, so Libyan snacks, not something you find in the U.S. too often. These were sent to us from friend of the podcast, former guest Chrissy, who has been in Libya for better part of the last year. She had previously sent us some snacks from Tunisia and from Iceland. And so she was trying really, really hard. She kept texting me, like, I'm going to find you some Libyan snacks. But I think it was really, really hard because there's not a lot of snacks that are actually like manufactured in Libya and sold in like prepackaged form and stuff that would survive a trip over here. But she did find these three, and we really appreciate it. She included a little note here with them that I wanna read real quick. It says, "Dear Charcoals and YTD, please enjoy this care package of 7 exotic, esoteric, eccentric snacks representing 3 countries: Iceland, Tunisia, and it took me months, but 3 snacks seemingly produced in Libya, one of the most difficult countries in the world for foreigners to obtain a visa. Hopefully, that fact makes up for the other fact that for sure the 3 Libyan snacks will be tasteless at best." And then she says, "You guys provide me with a weekly dose of sarcasm, irreverence, and joy, and I'm so happy when you all crawl into my ear holes each week. By the time you receive this, you'll have recorded your 100th episode. So big congrats to you on nearly 100 hours of Chester the Molester Cheetah, Shaq, and Dick jokes." Chrissy.
That's great.
So.
We love Chrissy. It's
super sweet.
That's
Thank
amazing.
You, Chrissy.
And
yeah.
I think knowing what she went through to get them might make them taste a little sweeter. So let's dig in and see what.
They don't look appetizing, but I do very much appreciate her kind thoughts and work to get it to us.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess that these snacks don't carry cash. That's just how I feel like I'm going to feel about these snacks out the gate.
These snacks look like they might be 96 years old. They are dense looking.
They're actually much fresher than the Iceland snacks she sent us that we tried other week. These ones she got them back in like June or something.
All right, let's start with the one that appears to have the most moisture to it, the Annajma cake.
An Annajma cake. It looks like 2 little cupcakes.
Yeah, they're
2 pieces.
Vanilla-y type cupcakes. The smell's not much different than opening like a Twinkie package or something like that.
You know, they actually have the ingredients in English, and it's actually kind of refreshing to look at them because the ingredients list is relatively short. Like, it's got a couple preservative chemicals in there, but for the most part, it looks like as if you were baking these cakes at home. You see this cake from like Hostess or any American company, and the ingredients list is 5 times that long.
Oh, wait. But below the ingredients, it says, "I've got something to tell you." And then you peel it back, and there's a list of another 40 ingredients.
It actually smells pretty good.
One of them is cigarettes. Yeah, it tastes like a normal white cake, like a almost it. Maybe I'm imagining it, but it almost tastes lemony for some reason to me. Well,
you might be imagining it. I don't think it has.
I know there's no lemon in it. That's why I'm like.
No, I get what you mean, though.
Yeah. It's like a sort of a refreshing kind of taste, I think, is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
All right, Geiger.
Thanks for backing my play, fellas.
Geiger, you're going to start us off. What do you think of the Annajma cake?
Well, I have something to tell you, but I don't think you'll be too mad.
Uh-huh.
I think it's okay. Actually, I mean, it's not mind blowing, and I think I'm also maybe judging it relative to what I thought it would be. But it's hard to get upset about this. This is just an innocuous cake. It's not as dry as it looked at first glance. It's not moist by any means, but it has a pleasant enough taste. It's I would give this a mild like that, actually. It's not great. It's no great feat of baking, but it tastes relatively fresh, and it wasn't, I don't know, there was something light, like I said, almost citrusy about it for me. I kind of liked it a little bit.
All right, surprise like that right out of the gate. Jed?
I've got something to tell you, and I think you are going to be mad.
No, I realize I'm going to be on a limb on this, I'm sure.
I think this is really good. tastes to me like a box cake mix. Like it tastes pretty similar to like a Betty Crocker box cake mix. You just put a little frosting on this thing, and you would have like, I mean, you could tell me that this cupcake came from, you know, Costco or something like that. I think this is
Okay. Oh, the boutique bakery, Costco.
yeah, no, I'm not saying it's some fancy pants cupcakes or whatever. Like a grocery store cupcake, you know what I mean?
Swirl some frosting on it, put a wrapper in it, and I think it might just be from Hostess, guys. All right, sure, I guess.
I'm actually, so this is at least getting a like that for me.
Yeah.
I'm considering Love Dat. I'm
Wow.
right on the
No,
board
that's a bridge too far.
I think it's really good. I'm gonna stay at the high level like that, but I think maybe it's because I expected all three of these to be just complete dog shit, but I think this is really, really tasty. So like that for me. Good job, Chris.
All right, I've got something to tell you. I don't think you're gonna be mad because it's
Wait, let
the
me
same
guess.
thing that you both said.
Let me guess. Is it eating ain't cheating? Is that what you're gonna tell us?
None of us have cheated in this episode so far.
Clowning ain't downing. Look, this.
Wait, let me guess. Is it?
Go ahead.
There's some like dats in this house? Is that what you're gonna say?
This cake, I think I'm more with Geiger in that I think I like it a little more because I thought it was going to be bad. It does, but I will agree with Chad in that this thing could come from Costco. I agree that is the case. It does need some kind of like, if it had like a cream on the inside of it, I think it could be a slam dunk. I agree, but it doesn't, and so it's still a bit dry. But the flavor's kind of nice. This is going to be a super surprise right out of the gate. Welcome visitor, all the way from Libya.
Nice work, Chrissy.
And I can't imagine that it will be beat, but who knows? We may be yet surprised. Next, we're going to do the Happy Chocolate Croissant.
This is the one that I think has the chance to beat it of these other two, because
this thing is.
I like a chocolate croissant. You know, like, I mean, a packaged croissant is probably bad, but
yeah. Does yours have? Mine has like got a big thing on the top. Does yours have that?
A shit stain?
Isn't that where they put the how they fill the chocolate?
Chocolate.
Okay, so
mine doesn't have.
Now that I take it out of the package and look at it, I take back everything I said. This does not look like it's going to beat the previous one.
But break that thing open. It looks a little moisture on the inside. It is shaped pretty much exactly like a croissant, but it has definitely a packaged look and feel to it.
This is a big ass snack. This is like a mini hot dog. This definitely is something that could come from Costco.
I don't think so. The Costco croissants are way better than this.
There's very little chocolate in this thing. It's just sugary croissant most.
It's just kind of a big glob in the middle.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be a little tougher. Geiger, you're up, or no, Chad's up first. Chad, what do you think?
I'm up first. The croissant itself is bad. Let's be clear. If there was no chocolate in the middle here, this would be an easy dislike that. I don't think the flavor of the croissant is very good. It is dry. I'm trying to decide if I actually like the chocolate in the middle or not. Yeah. The chocolate in the middle is okay.
We getting somewhere? Yeah. Just a pause.
I wasn't ready. What to do with this one?
Chad, do you have something to tell us?
That's something is that normally I give snacks 3 chances, but in this case, it's just going to be one. I don't think the chocolate is good enough to save it because there's not enough chocolate. Maybe if I put this in the microwave ahead of time and the chocolate got a little melty, it might have bumped it up, but we're not rating it in the microwave. We're just rating it as is. So I'm gonna just slide it into dislike that for me. I think it's too dry.
Okay. Um, I agree with you what you said about it being dry. The croissant is very dry. Um, it's not flaky. It's just gross. And the chocolate, I actively avoided the chocolate after. As bad as that croissant is, after I bit into the chocolate, the next couple bites, I moved them towards my mouth and then sort of like turned 45-degree angle to make sure I didn't get another bite of chocolate because there's something
Oh, interesting.
not good about it to me. It does, and there's even visually the chocolate does not look appealing.
No,
So
it totally looks like a really, really nasty shit that was boiling for quite a while. And the aftertaste isn't great either.
but it's gonna stay it's gonna stay from being a hate that because it's still edible. It's just sort of like stale seeming bread. So I'm gonna give it a second dislike that. And so far we have had full agreement. Geiger, are you gonna stick with your friends here?
That trend will not change. This is a pretty clear cut dislike that. There's really no hemming or hawing. It's the package makes it look like it's an actual croissant, which you know it can't be because it's like pre-wrapped and everything. But
Yeah.
it is like a hot dog bun. It's not. It's like got none. There's nothing croissant like about this at all.
Right.
It's literally just like a white bread hot dog bun. And the inside, I'm with Novak. The chocolate shit smear is gross. Like it doesn't. It looks unappealing. It doesn't even taste that much like chocolate. Like when you were like, I'm trying to decide if I like the chocolate enough. I'm like, what's there to like? It tastes like shit, and there's nothing in there. Half of it is just it's like a hot dog bun coated in sugar. I was on the border of a dislike, border of a like and a indifferent last time. I'm actually on the border of a dislike and a hate this time, but I will stick with a dislike because that we've eaten. It is at best just innocuous, but it's not good at all. So dislike that.
Okay, a welcome
Fair.
visitor and an unwelcome visitor here in the same show. We'll see where the Nana cake falls later on, but we segment time.
Yeah. So, in keeping with the theme, it actually kind of works out. What a common theme when you take a girl on a date is you go out for drinks, right, fellas?
Sure.
Now,
If we get that far.
if we right at you first, you go to the pet store, meet all her former coworkers, then you get drinks. That's a common
Sure.
first date.
After I can't pay for the cab, usually we don't get actually into the restaurant.
When I get lost on the way to her house, can't pay for the cab, she starts juggling. I'm like, yeah, missed probably isn't going to be worth it. Now, so we all know Chad. I don't want to get on Chad's corner. He's got Mount Snackmore all locked up. However, this is Mount Drinkmore. So,
Oh shit!
different. So, so yes, this is our Rush Mount Boozemore. I've got 10 common alcohols that we are going to rate. Now, I know you guys aren't huge drinkers, but do your best to figure out. You at least remember what some of these taste like. And then we'll rank them 1 through 10 like we normally do and figure out which is our top 4 and the crazy horse of booze. So, here's what we got. Beer, wine, vodka, tequila, rum, cognac, scotch, bourbon, gin, and then a catch-all of whiskey. I know technically some people think bourbon is whiskey, but I mean like Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, other types of whiskeys. So, it can be whatever usage you have for it. Like if you use it, like even if it's like you like one of them because you cook with it or something, I don't care. Just however like whichever one you like the most. I can go first because I've already pre-ranked it while I was sitting down. So
Yeah, this is hard when I don't have like days in advance to rank them all. Well, you guys
yeah.
ahead of time.
Yeah. So I'll go
I know
first.
how we feel when you do these. Yeah.
I know. Everyone knows. I'll start at 10 and go backward as we always do. 10 for me is rum. I fucking hate rum. I always have. I don't know why. The taste is just nasty. So all those fruity drinks that everyone likes on like cruise ships and vacation resorts and stuff, I loathe it. I hate rum balls. I hate anything that tastes even remotely of rum. 9 for me is tequila. As my friend Chad can attest, tequila is a sneaky bastard.
Sneaky.
I got the first time I ever got royally hammered. I had about 6 shots of tequila in an hour, and ever since then, every time I smell tequila, I want to throw up. So I've had a couple margaritas in that since then. I can get through it, but I really don't like it. 8 is cognac. I've only had it one time. Our friend Steve got it from one of his uh, patients. He's a um, we'll put it at that. He has a patient, and they gave him a bottle of cognac as a gift, and we tried it, and it was nasty. But I put it at 8 because I hate the other two more actively. 7, I like Scotch. Okay, this is where we're getting into the areas that I would actually drink. Scotch is fine. I haven't had too much of it. I think if I got into Scotch more, I would like it more. 6 is whiskey, primarily because I have had some Japanese whiskey, and that's really I like it. Irish whiskey, I'm not as like Jameson's and stuff. I'm not as big on. 5, we were starting to get into the ones I would actually drink. 5, vodka. Vodka to me is like they always say it's the alcoholics alcohol because you can just mix it and stuff and barely notice that someone's drinking. I guess as a mixer, like in college, I liked it a lot, but I don't drink much vodka anymore. These top 4 are the ones I actually do enjoy quite a bit. So, top 3. 4 is wine. I don't really give a shit about wine. Wine's fine. Um, like if someone serves wine at dinner, I'll drink it. I don't like almost any white wine. It's got to be red. And even there, I don't know jack shit about it. Someone like, oh, what kind of wine do you want? Pick out a wine for the table. That's not my job. I don't care. I don't know any of it, so I don't do that. So wine's okay. Gin, I like a lot. I used to drink a lot more gin when I was younger. My grandfather and my dad both drank gin, so I learned from them. My dad used to ply me with gin at the club so that when we went back, he was all ready to make his moves. And so I have happy memories of it. The first time I ever really started hooking up. This is fucking weird. Becky and Jenny, I'm so sorry. 2, I really like bourbon. So if I'm gonna drink liquor, it's typically an old fashioned or a Manhattan. And then next would be a gin and tonic. Those are my 2 go-to alcohol drinks. Where that's all I drink anymore. Really, for liquor. My infamous fishing trips are generally just oodles of Manhattan. And then number 1, I mean, it's not a big surprise. I'm from Milwaukee, so I drink lots of beer. I think we've talked about that here. Probably more than I should during the quarantine. I think I've gained some weight due to my beer consumption going up. I've had 2 today already. So I don't have a problem. Just saying, I drink a lot of beer. I'm not snooty about it. I like craft beer and I like a lot of interesting beer, but I'm not snooty about it. I'll drink terrible beer as well. But that is mine. So real quick, 1 through 10: beer, bourbon, gin, wine, vodka, whiskey, like regular whiskey, scotch, cognac, tequila, and rum are my 10.
The Geiger's is the most knowledgeable of these, so
Yeah.
Chad and I's list.
I was worried that there wouldn't be 10 that you guys have actually tried, but I didn't know what, I wanted to round it out and tip
I guarantee we've had them in various drinks, but it's definitely not as informed an opinion as yours. Now, Geiger, I'm curious. Are you prepared to do all the math and figure out the winner as Chad?
I will try. I'm gonna go lowest score wins.
Here's the thing: is that you should have. If you'd asked me, I would have given you access to the spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet I set up with like formulas, so all I have to do is type in the numbers that you guys say, and it spits out a winner.
Oh well, see, he doesn't do math either. Look at that.
That's
this
right,
whole time. Mr. Spreadsheet. All right, that's why we need to get
Chad,
these segments fast. You need to give me 10 minutes at the end to do all that.
You can go, Novak. I'm actually still figuring it out.
Okay. The bottom half is going to be quick. 10 is Scotch, and 9 is whiskey. Both of Scotch and whiskey to me are like drinks for a cowboy on the open range. Like to me, I don't get them at all. They're just gross tasting. That tastes like you're drinking paint thinner. I cannot get into either one of those. 8, I'm actually gonna say gin. So many people really love gin, like to have a gin and tonic, but it tastes gross to me. I don't like. I've never liked them, so I'm putting that 8. I'm gonna put the cognac 7 because I didn't know where the hell else to put it. I didn't have a strong opinion about it.
I figured that was the one that you maybe of all of them that no one might have had. but
Right. It's basically brandy, right? It's just
yeah, it's a kind of brandy.
good. Okay. And then 6, I'm gonna say wine. I don't really like wine. I'll have red wine at an event if they give it to you. White wine's gross, but I will actually use it to cook, so I put it above some of those other ones.
Fair.
5, I'm gonna say bourbon, the brownest of the brown liquors.
As it's often known.
4, I'm gonna say rum. I don't mind. When I was first coming of age of getting mixed drinks, like rum and coke was an easy one to tell a bartender when you just turned 21. So I didn't mind it. I still don't mind the taste. 3, tequilas. Number of drinks I like that mixed drinks that have tequila in them. So I'm gonna say 3. Number 2, I'm gonna say vodka. Again, number of mixed drinks I like that I would have with vodka. And number 1, I'm a simple man. And so no one's going to confuse me as a classy person. So I'm going to say beer, number 1. It's the one that I actually drink way more than the rest of these. And I don't even drink a ton of it, but there's a number of beers that I like and I have them in my house. So I'm going to say beer 1.
All right.
Okay, so my ranking is going to be a little weird because 4 of these I actively hate. 1 I've never tried, and 5 I don't give a shit about. So
right. I picked the right crowd for this.
4. So the 4 that I hate, I just kind of ranked them. I hate them all. These 4 could be in any order, but here's what they are. I put them settled on. Number 10, I've got rum.
Yeah.
9, scotch. 8, bourbon. 7, gin. I find all 4 of those disgusting. They're all basically the same to me. They all kind of have the same sort of like gross.
We took
flavor.
gin downtown, Gagger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no kidding. Plus, they're not the same. Bourbon is the brownest of the brown.
It is, yeah.
If you like brown, then you.
My bad. Number 6, cognac. I've never had it.
I figured.
So yeah. I just put it here because
could be good.
It could be good, could be awful. So now we're getting into stuff. So I put tequila at 5 because I used to love tequila.
I was surprised. I thought you liked it a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. In college, tequila sunrise was my drink. Even after college, I used to love to do shots of tequila. I did too many. I drank too much tequila. I'm over it. I got to the point where like now if I smell tequila, it kind of grosses me out. But just for historical reasons, I'm going to put it at number 5. 4, I have whiskey. Jack and Coke is actually a pretty go-to drink for me back when I used to like go to bars and stuff. That was kind of like my mixed drink of choice. So that's going to be number 4 for me. But that's the only situation I'll drink whiskey in. Number 3, I put wine. I don't like wine at all, with the exception of champagne occasionally. But I do kind of like sake, which is rice wine. So that was enough for me to put it at number 3. And also, sometimes you cook with it, as Novak mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So these top 2 were really tough for me because here's the thing with beer. So there are some beers I like, some Hefeweizens and stuff like that, but the vast majority of beers are disgusting. I hate all dark beers. I don't like those kind of like bland, watery beers like Miller Lite and stuff. There are only a few beers that I actually like. The ones I do like, I really do like. But for me, I put beer at number 2, and then I put vodka at number 1 for 2 reasons. 1, vodka's used to make vanilla extract, and I've made my own vanilla extract with it, and it's awesome. Great for baking. My favorite vodka preparation is chocolate chip cookie. And then also my absolute favorite alcoholic drink on the planet, a chocolate martini, is made with vodka. Yeah, so for me that was the easiest choice, was putting vodka at number 1.
Somewhere there's like a beer alcohol podcast where they're seriously ranking these, and one's like, I really like vodka, they use it to make vanilla extract.
Person's listened to it, they just like whip their headphones out of their phone and just started pissing on their phone or something, like, these assholes.
Yeah, somewhere there's somebody going like, what the whiskey and bourbon are in separate. Well, I give up. I mean, I think technically Scotch is also a version of whiskey, but fuck it, it's our podcast. We do what we want. Okay, give me 2
Yeah,
seconds
that's right.
here.
Send me your hate mail, listeners. I'll take it. Give me your hate mail about how bad my ranking is.
We should do a beer podcast where we do all these exotic beers and then pick like Miller Lite as the best one. It's just got a crisp, clean taste.
I mean, isn't that basically what we do with the snacks?
Yeah, I was about to say that's
we
more
try these artisanal snacks and like, well, I just like the Snickers the best. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing that won the year is a Cadbury egg. All right. So, unsurprisingly, with the George Washington, the busty, wooden titty George Washington spot. No? Oh, you go back?
Start from the bottom.
Okay. All right.
Start from the bottom.
You just hold on, George Washington. We'll get there, buddy. Relax. All right.
Didn't your dad tell you not to blow all your load at once? You gotta go
this
slow.
is Mount Rush. Drink more. There's different rules. Here we start in the middle. No. All right. The Crazy Horse spot.
Drink Mount Snackmore.
Yes, it's
the Drink Mount Snackmore.
Drink Mount Snackmore is the correct name.
Okay.
A.k.a. Mount Drinkmore.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that sit around snacking on beer. They're called alcoholic. All right. The Crazy Horse spot at number 5. That's sneaky of sneaky bastards. Tequila.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in reverse. I ranked them in the spot they had, so the lowest score here wins. They had
That's
17.
why Crazy Horse is so crazy.
Right. 17 points there. With 15 points actually bourbon. So I think that's largely on the strength of me dragging it skyward, where you guys and Novak was just kind of in the middle on it. So 3 is wine. So I don't think any of us consider us. Well, it had 13 points. I don't think any of us can like wine a ton, but it's versatile.
It's not those other things, right?
It's not the other liquors. Chad has had it and doesn't hate it, so it's a very exclusive company for him. 2 is the drink most enjoyed by Dave's date's ex-husband, vodka. The Russian. So 2, that 8 points. Again, I think that makes sense. If you don't love alcohol and like sharp alcohol taste, vodka you can hide in things a lot easier. So it's like drinking fruit juice that just gets you messed up.
And I just take that vodka bottle and douche it all over my chocolate chip cookies. Just fucking soak them in.
I think that makes sense because you can easily make vanilla extract out of it. That's what everyone does. I tried to make vanilla extract out of cognac once. Get all fucked up. And then number 1, far and away, America is number 1 by way of Germany. That's beer. 4 points. It got 2 firsts and a second. That was a roundhouse kick. That's the George Washington spot, as we've previously decided.
Yep.
It is beer. We spent 20 minutes deciding that we like beer. So
what was the
there we go.
What was the lowest score?
Yes, the lowest score far and away was Scotch with 26.
Okay.
Because Novak ranked it dead last and you ranked it second last. Yep. And then the second lowest was rum. Thanks to you and I, we both rated it last. Novak had it up at 4 somehow. It was in his Mount Drinkmore. But we know he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, so it's okay.
There you go. Beer is good. We've decided.
So, everybody go buy some beer.
For the hard questions.
All right.
Beer, the Snickers of drinks.
Tastes even better if you can get your date to pay for it. Okay, we've got one snack to go. Can the Nana cake defeat the first cake we tried?
No, wait, isn't this a Dana cake, or is there? You're saying
is it Dana?
It just look. I don't know. It just says cake, and then on the back it says product Dana C, and everything else is in Arabic. So I think it's Dana because it does. Yeah,
it's Dana cake. Okay. The ingredients. There are 5 ingredients: flour, sugar, eggs, vegetable fats, and vanilla flavor, fresh shot from the vodka.
A.k.a. Kettle One.
This thing is
feels dense.
It smells all right.
A shrunken loaf of bread. It's my top is very hard and crusty. It
The
doesn't.
top
It's
is hard,
unappealing.
but the bottom that is in a wrapper is not quite as
Ooh,
crusty.
it's dry. It's real dry.
Those vegetable fats didn't really carry the day like they're supposed to.
This is a DAC.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yes, kid. I got
Yes.
it. I was laughing and Chad was thinking, I'm like, all right, let's just let it play out.
Should I have made a "there's a crazy horse in this house" joke earlier?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
There's dry crumbs in my mouth. There's dry crumbs in my mouth.
The flavor, if you take apart the dryness, the flavor is at least a close cousin to that first cake's flavor. It's not real far off because it's just like a basic white cake.
Ooh, this is a tough one, actually. I will say again, a little better than I was expecting. I thought this thing would be wretched.
I'm not gonna lie. When I opened the package from Chrissy with these snacks, I thought this was gonna be like 3 hate, dislike, all around kind of snacks.
Right.
And these are better than that Iceland shit we tried. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm up first. This, it's too dry is the problem. But the flavor's not terrible. Like we said, it's got something in common with that other cake we liked earlier. Just not moist enough. There's nothing at all offensive about it, like with the croissant that had that really disgusting chocolate. This, to me, just falls in between those other two snacks we tried. It's not surprising that nothing we have here is likely to be a love or a hate. It's sort of what Chrissy told us in the letter. She didn't expect much flavor out of these. And this, I kind of expected all three to taste just like this one. But as it is, this one is just a completely middle of the road, indifferent to Dat. I have no take whether a positive feeling or negative feeling from eating this. It's just really bland. So, and indifferent to Dat. Geiger, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you were right in when you said it wasn't that far off from the first one we ate that we liked. It's the consistency's a lot worse for me. It's just too dry. It gets real crumbly in your mouth. The taste is fine. It doesn't have it. I do think that first one, the Annajma one, tasted a little better. But this one was again way better than I thought it would be, and a lot better than the hot dog bun full of chocolate. So I would give this an indifferent as well. I think it's right down the middle. It's the exact epitome of just a kind of okay type of snack to eat. I would say again, this is another snack that if you're just trying to get a snack, this is a pretty big snack. This is like a loaf of pastry kind of thing to eat. So that makes it a little weird. And again, it's not a great snack on the go because it would be like dribbling down your shirt and pants and everywhere. But I will say it's a solid indifferent.
Okay, we are a single rating away from a completely full agreement episode. So the times are tough in the world right now. We all know that. People can't agree on damn near anything. Mm-hmm. It's just disagreement after disagreement. But we can buck up. We can buck the trend right here. So Chad, what do you think of the Dana cake?
Yeah. I think the flavor is noticeably worse than the last one that we tried. Or not the first one that we tried. Sorry, the Annajma cake or whatever. That one tastes way better. The consistency on that one is way better. I mean, you're not finding this at fucking Costco. This is a Sam's Club cake. Sam's Club. Anyways, but it is way better than the chocolate croissant was, even despite the delicious chocolate in the middle of that thing. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. This is middle of the road, indifferent to Dat. I think I liked it a little bit less than you, but not enough to go dislike Dat for me. I don't think it's very good though.
Wow.
Oh, a lazy electioneer. And we have full agreement.
Unity.
Wah, 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 wah.
Look
There
to
are
us,
no
world.
dissenting opinions.
if
Isn't that interesting?
If we can all agree that this bland cake is in fact bland, why are there wars?
Well, Geiger, if we want to hear from the listeners, they 100% have not tried these snacks, but we would like to hear their interesting date stories.
Yeah.
Where can they send them to us?
Yeah, if you ever went on an interesting date, if you even went on a date at all, like we said, we really didn't do it much. Just we don't have any idea what it's like. Just tell us.
Yeah.
I'm just interested. If you have somehow eaten a Libyan snack, and have a strong opinion about it either way, let us know. But in general, if you just want to let us give us a question for the mailbag, suggest a snack, um, let us know if you disagree with our ratings. If you desperately want to listen to our entire back catalog, you should do that. Leave us a review, a like, listen, anything like that. Leave us a listen. Leave us a listen, guys. That's how social media works, right? We are on Facebook. We have a You Tried Dat group. Hashtag You Tried Dat on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're anywhere you can find your podcasts. We are also on Instagram. Anyway, you've heard me say this a million times, hopefully, because it's the same 7 people listening over and over, but we really appreciate you listening. And again, another big shout out to Chrissy. Thank you so much for sending us these our way. They were much better than I thought, and I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, hit us up if you've been on a date or if you've eaten a date. Anyone that's eaten a date, send us an email.
The fruit
we want to hear from you.
To be clear, the fruit. We don't want to hear about the other thing.
Yeah. We don't want to hear about that time you weren't cheating.
If there are some serious non-cheaters in the room, let us know all about it.
So a clown is a potential deal breaker, but probably not. What sort of job would a date have to tell you they have?
Wait a minute, that's a bold assumption, but probably not. We're all good with it, right? Anyway, moving on.
What sort of job would the date have to tell you they had that would potentially be a deal breaker? Is there anything?
Well, hitman's not great, I gotta be honest.
That's certainly one.
Yeah, that's probably top of the list. Hitman.
Would you care if the girl was a stripper or some sort of like adult entertainer? Not a prostitute or anything, but like a,
Porn
like
star.
a webcam something, or porn star or a stripper or something like that.
Yeah, I'd probably care about
That'd
that.
be difficult, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Not to shame that industry, but just saying it'd be.
I don't think I'd want to date anybody that was actually like running for office or in politics or whatever.
True.
Just because I just don't want to.
That's 10 times worse than stripper, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, way worse. Way worse. I would 100 times date a stripper over like mayor.
What?
I was like, man, you're dating an alderman. You got to get out of that relationship.
You're on the city council. You're on your local school board. Get the fuck out of
I
here.
ain't with it.
What about a retired 15-time NBA All-Star center?
I mean, I'd be a little nervous, yeah. Crush me.
I'm here for that.
Would you date like
Shaq.
if you just had like you didn't have to like actually date him, but you just had to pretend to be his like partner in public, and you get all like the money and fame that went with it? Would you do it for a little bit? It'd be kind of fun to like hang out with Shaq.
What?
No?
The money and fame that comes from walking around pretending to be with Shaq?
No, but like he takes you out to nice places and buys you stuff. I mean, basically, I'm asking if you'd be a gold digger for Shaq. That's what I'm saying.
Do you want Shaq to wine and dine you?
I want him to wine and beer me.
Shouldn't have been beer and dine.
Beer and dine. None of us are good at improv.
I'm no interest in eating.
No. You did not buck up there, Novak. You did not buck up.
You're more interested in cheating, Novak?
I'd be totally fine being Shaq's side piece as long as he doesn't decide to like run for mayor or something. Then I'm out.
Once Shaq runs for office, then I'm done.
On our current trajectory, he'll probably end up as like a governor at least. Like it's shaping up that way.
All right, well, that'll do it this time. We've got
Great.
some fun episodes coming up, so make sure that you are downloading, subscribing, listening every week. But we'll be back next time. We'll be trying out 3 brand new songs.
Deuces.
Whap.